This is an official message from the Westbrook Unified School District in coordination with the Department of Student Safety and Psychological Wellness. All students, faculty, and overnight custodial staff are advised to listen carefully and follow the instructions given in this emergency bulletin. As of 12 a.m. tonight, the administration has issued a Level 2 containment advisory for Westbrook High School. This advisory has been issued in response to several incidents involving unauthorized activity on campus between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. Specifically, individuals have reported unusual reflections in the mirrors located in restrooms, locker rooms, and certain hallway intersections. The behavior of these reflections does not correspond to the observed physical movements of those in front of them. Initial reports were vague and dismissed as sleep-deprived hallucinations or pranks. However, the pattern has become disturbingly consistent. Witnesses describe looking into the mirror and seeing themselves, lagging behind, at first, just by a second, maybe two, a blink that never happened, a smile that comes too late. But over the past week, the delay has grown longer. In some cases, the reflection does not move at all. It simply stares back. At 12:17 a.m. yesterday, a senior custodian entered the east hallway restroom to investigate a dripping noise. Security footage confirms he did not leave. When the janitorial team arrived at 5 a.m., they found the lights flickering and the mirror fogged from the inside. On the floor, a set of rubber gloves lay beside a mop, soaked through with water tinged a dull reddish brown. The mirror was clean, too clean, as if it had been licked. Effective immediately, all mirrors on campus have been covered or removed, but under no circumstances should any individual attempt to uncover or interact with a mirror after midnight. This includes compact mirrors, phone front cameras, reflective trophy cases, and even highly polished windows. If you see your reflection during these hours, look away. Do not acknowledge it. Do not speak to it. And absolutely do not follow it if it moves without you. Reports are now emerging of students who claim to have been watched by their reflection. Some say it smiles too early. Others say it frowns when they try to smile. One student, a sophomore last seen near the science wing after hours, was found the next morning, unconscious, ace wide open, pupils dilated, lips torn at the corners as if from a scream held too long. He has not spoken since. His parents report that he refuses to sleep in rooms with mirrors. He covers the windows with duct tape, and he scratches at his own face when his reflection appears in the glass of picture frames. The most recent incident occurred at 2:43 a.m. this morning. Security cameras picked up motion in the third-floor girls' restroom. The feed shows a sophomore entering. She glances in the mirror. She does not move again, but the reflection does. It tilts its head, slowly, deliberately, and walks out of frame. The girl is still standing in front of the mirror, frozen, unblinking when the footage ends. If you are currently inside the school, and it is past midnight, avoid reflective surfaces. If you hear tapping from the inside of a mirror, do not look. If your reflection does not match your movements, do not confront it. Leave the building calmly. Do not run. It can see you faster when you run. We believe the mirrors are no longer passive. They seem to learn. Mimicry has turned into autonomy. The reflections do not just copy anymore. They choose. They decide. And once they decide, they don't want to go back behind the glass. There are now more reflections than people. Please remain calm. We are working with local authorities and school psychologists to contain the phenomenon. Until further notice, Westbrook High School is closed for overnight activities. We ask that all students return home immediately after school hours and do not, under any circumstances, return to campus after dark. If you or someone you know begins to see movement in mirrors, when a loaner notices a delay in their reflections, response report to a district counselor immediately. You will be issued a temporary non-reflective face shield and relocated to supervised housing. And remember, if your reflection smiles at you and you didn't smile first, it's already too late. This time, we ask all students and faculty to remain where they are, lock doors. Do not open them unless instructed by a recognized district officer or a trusted member of your school's administration. This is not a drill. Remain calm. Remain seated. This message concerns behavioral anomalies observed in multiple educators across the district. At approximately 9:13 a.m. this morning, students in room 2B of Edison Middle School reported that their teacher, Mr. Whitlow, paused mid-lecture and stood silently at the board for 13 minutes, unmoving. During this time, he held a piece of chalk against the blackboard, but he did not write. He did not blink. When asked if he was okay, he turned only his head and smiled. We are aware that many teachers may exhibit signs of fatigue or disorientation, particularly in early hours. However, Mr. Whitlow's behavior has escalated. After standing still for nearly 20 minutes, he resumed his lesson, but the content was no longer consistent with the curriculum. He began reciting names, not students' names. These were not in any records. He repeated them over and over, slowly at first, then faster, until the words blurred into a rhythmic hum. Several students reported intense headaches and nausea. One began to bleed from the nose. At 9:42 a.m., classroom surveillance shows Mr. Whitlow removing his shoes and carefully turning them to face the chalkboard. He then crouched beneath his desk and began eating loose sheets of notebook paper. When approached by the assistant principal, he raised his eyes and said, "You're too late. I've let them in. Do not approach a teacher who displays these behaviors. Do not speak to them. Do not allow them to touch you. If they call your name, do not respond." More reports have followed. Other teachers across the district have begun showing similar signs, pausing, staring, smiling too wide, too long. Some have removed their teeth with their own hands. Some have whispered to the lights, asking them to dim. One began writing a phrase repeatedly on the walls in red ink. The lesson is underneath. We now believe this is not an isolated psychological event. The affected individuals are not ill. They are changing. They are becoming something else, something that remembers the shape of a teacher but no longer understands the role. They mimic familiarity, but they do not know your names. They only know the sound your bones make when you shift in your seat. If your teacher stops speaking mid-sentence and stares at you, if they smile without blinking, if they begin naming people who are not there, leave the classroom. Do not wait for the bell. Do not ask permission. And above all, do not let them see you're afraid. It excites them.